Welcome to Melbourne Private Apartments, where you can enjoy luxurious waterfront accommodation that feels like a home away from home. My name is Lana Murphy, and today I'm joined by a VIP guest, former world #1 tennis player Vika Azarenka. She's won 2 Australian Opens and is now back in the city and a very proud guest of Melbourne Private Apartments. Thank you for staying with us, Victoria.
Thank you for having me.
How are you enjoying your stay in Melbourne so far?
I love it here. It's my 3rd year staying here, so it definitely feels like home away from home, and I get to know a little bit of the staff here, and just, it's very comforting thought when we travel so much and you go to a place where you feel like, oh, I've been there, I feel comfortable there, I feel good, because playing in a tournament, big tournament, where there's a lot of pressure, a lot of emotions, it's good to have that safe space where you can come back to and relax. So I'm very happy to be here.
What's it like having a lovely view over the water and the city at the same time?
Oh, it's amazing. It's, you wake up to like a good mood. And what I love about staying here is it's a little bit further away from a lot of people, which is a big bonus for me. And just the opportunity to make your own breakfast, not have to go, in the hotel to a main like a lobby or anything like that, and to cook a little bit. I like to cook, so it definitely gives that home environment, which I really appreciate.
And you touched on the location. Obviously, it's just a stone's throw away from the city, gives you a bit of breathing space. But is it still close enough to the tennis centre that it's easy enough for you? You've ridden here.
Yeah, absolutely. I like to take the bike there or a scooter, and so the location is great. It's private enough, close enough to everything else. So I feel like it's a perfect combination.
You're making your own breakfast. What do you have for breakfast, Vika Azarenka?
Honestly, I'm actually having a pretty hard time with breakfast right now. So it will be a simple coffee and maybe like a croissant right now. I'm not a big breakfast person, but because I practice, I have to eat something. But dinner is more like my thing, where I will make some fish or some salads or like a ramen. I'm into ramen a lot lately, so yeah, dinner is more like my thing to do.
Have you been able to get out to any of the restaurants? Are there any Melbourne restaurants that you kind of love to go to in the years that you return here?
I only been to one. I went to Nobu, kind of like a go-to spot, I guess, for everybody. I'm a huge fan of Japanese food and sushi and a good quality, so that was my one stop. And yeah, I want to actually go maybe like a St. Kilda beach or something to see. I've been there last year and it was really cool with the sunset. So I want to actually explore a little bit more like a local restaurants and maybe like Victoria's Market or something like that.
I love the sound of that, and I'm sure you'll put one Instagram post up and you'll have millions of recommendations from locals here. We always love to tell people where to eat here in Melbourne. You have been to our city for so many times over the last decade. What is it, I guess, that you love most about Melbourne?
Well, the first day I arrived, I went to the mall and we rode to the city. I actually took the bike with my physio who was on the scooter, and I just forget how cool Melbourne is, with the tram and like different little areas. Some are, we went through the Chinatown, which has its own flavor. Then you have like the big shopping, fancy shops, all the little great cafes with particular like street artwork. That's something that I always notice in Melbourne, and I love it. But the combination of big city and like ability, you can walk around and you can ride on the bike and have the park. So I feel like that's really cool. And I have my camera this year with me. I got back into my photography hobby, so I'm gonna go and explore a little bit more the city, maybe some murals with the pop art. And, so, yeah.
Beautiful. You've got a good agenda.
Yeah, I gotta play tennis first and then we'll see.
Speaking of tennis, I mean, you've won 2 Australian Opens. How special is the AO to you, and are you eyeing off a 3rd win?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the goal is always the crown. I never really look back too much. Obviously, I feel very comfortable and very excited always coming here. But to me, it's about creating new memories and kind of trying to be present, because it's so easy in our sport to like be ahead of yourself or to look back and to compare. So it's really like a mindful exercise that I try to do and create new memories and new experiences. So I'm excited for this season. I know I'm not going to play for too long, in too many years left. So I want to really, give it all I have and see where it takes me.
Amazing. I feel like maybe you've just indicated that you're not the person to really concentrate on outside influences, but is there anyone that you've been eyeing off and you kind of see as your competition? Anyone coming through the ranks? Any competitors that you're going, oh, that might be a problem?
I mean, absolutely. I feel like there's a lot of great talent, actually. I just played in Adelaide against a young Czech girl, Noskova, who was in the final. And she seems like a tremendous talent. I played another girl, a Chinese girl, Gwen Zheng. I don't want to butcher her name. Also with a lot of talent. I feel like there's a great new generation we're coming up now where it's exciting to face them, because I remember when I was 16, 17, 18 playing on the tour, and you go fearless, you have nothing to lose, so you constantly battling those those girls, which is exciting. And then it's all comes down to somebody who is consistent on the top. And last year we had Iga Swiatek who was playing amazing tennis. So I feel like tennis, specifically women's tennis, it's such a high level, and it's such entertainment where you don't know, you kind of keep yourself on your toes, and you gotta be ready every single match. Like first rounds are not like, oh, just first rounds warm up. It's full on competition, full on war right away.
And you touched on it, it really is this new generation, isn't it? Because it seems like a lot of the, particularly in the women's tour, a lot of the big names, it's kind of a changing of the guard. Big names are stepping down. You're still around, your reputation speaks for itself, but there's all these young up and comers. We spoke to a 15-year-old before that's just, qualified for the main draw. How amazing to be playing against young talent like that.
It's tough, it's tough because what I said, they're coming up, and it's especially like first, second year, it's like you don't really have much to prove. You play more free, which makes them more dangerous. Then it's about keeping that level up and being consistent. That's a second challenge. But the first, I feel like you get that wave of this great talent, fearless players, very explosive, aggressive. So it also makes me think about how do I adapt to that? The game is changing. So what do I need to do to excel at this level? So it's exciting as well. It's a different type of challenge for sure. It's frustrating sometimes when I'm like, oh my God, I'm playing a 16-year-old or 18-year-old. It's like, wow, it's a big difference. But I also look back at it as like I was in that position, and I do appreciate I appreciate new generation, and I'm excited when I stop playing tennis, how far the tennis is going to go, because ultimately I am a tennis fan. I want our sport to win, I want our sport to grow, and the young talent right now is a huge part of it.
Beautiful. It's great to hear you're a tennis fan, so are we, and we're fans of you. So thank you for joining us.